Miami, I don't think they're in trouble. I just think, everybody has to pick up their play. D-Wade's been hurt, and Ray Allen's kind of been on and off, and Chalmers has been, every now and then there and there and not. But, you can't just, nowadays you just can't really just rely on one player. LeBron has been out there playing great, and as he has all year, it's his 4th MVP. But, you're going to need your other players to step up to win a championship.
We all know that D-Wade, when healthy, he's a star. We're not going to, belabor the point that bone bruise has been bothering him because he's still out on the court and he's not looking to make any excuses. But are you surprised at all that there hasn't been a game in these playoffs where he has definitively been the second best player on the court?
Well, I think obviously, as you said before, you can tell he's out there, he's nursing injuries. But, I think the competitor in him, at some point, he's going to have to step up and play the way we know he can play. And, maybe his next game, you never know. But, that's the glory in these playoffs. You never know who's going to step up and win.
Stephen A., I know you're there. Don't know if you got to talk to Dwayne after the game last night.
I did.
Again, just watching television, it looked like another Dwayne Wade knee game. It looked like he was hobbled. It looked like he didn't have quite the spring or the explosion that he had in the previous game when it looked like he was coming back. And he has said all along, I'm kind of night to night. I don't know how it's going to react from night to night. Then we had Bosh with some kind of ankle tweak. He did come back after he got it retaped. LeBron tweaked his ankle. We know LeBron is Iron Man without the suit, so that doesn't matter. He's indestructible. But the only issue I have for the Heat going forward is that knee and maybe Bosh's ankle. That could be a big thing. Maybe Bosh was hobbled in the fourth quarter.
No. After the game, Bosh was fine. After the game, Bosh was fine. He told me he was fine. He was walking around fine. He was with family and friends. He said he was fine. Dwayne Wade, he had elevated real high for a layup or a dunk in the first quarter and came down a little bit wrong. And from that point forward, he seemed to be a little bit hobbled. It wasn't nothing too flagrant. It wasn't nothing too debilitating. But it definitely took something off of him where you could see him pacing himself and really, really pushing himself in certain moments, and other times he would step a little back. Plus, you got to remember he has some foul trouble as well. But I think he'll be fine for the next game, too. And obviously, LeBron is LeBron. But clearly, Dwayne Wade is not going to be 100%. And it's not something, I don't blame LeBron for stepping in and not really wanting him to talk about it. I don't blame Dwayne Wade for not wanting to talk about it because he's basically told all of us, or he's already said it. The bone bruise is not getting worse, Skip. The problem is that it's not going to get better anytime during these playoffs. So what you have to do is day to day, you have to go in and figure out a way to tweak it, get yourself better, to get through the game. And that's it. But you got to remember mentally, psychologically, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, Rudy, if you know something's not going to get worse, but at the same time, you know it's not going to get better, it still has a psychological effect on you because you're starving for it to get better. And if it's not going to get better, that means whatever you're playing with, whenever it's hurting, whenever it's debilitating, the reality is that dag, this is what I got to deal with because it's not going anywhere until the season's over. And sometimes that can mess with you because now you're focused on pacing. You're monitoring a game. You're looking at the clock. You're questioning when you should step in, take over, when you should step back, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes that messes with you because it could disrupt your rhythm to some degree. If I'm wrong, Rudy, please tell me.
No, you're right. You're right. But on another note, the fact that you're out there and you're playing with your teammates, all that mentally, you have to just block that out and let your teammates know that I'm with you. Whether you're hurt or not, it's almost June. If it's not, what day?
It's almost June. Saturday.
It's almost June.
Yeah.
Saturday it'll be June.
Yep.
And people are still playing right now, and we're talking about the playoffs. So everybody at some point has a nagging injury or is dealing with something. So.
And guys, let me tell y'all this too. We keep making mention of his points. Dwayne Wade has primarily been defending Paul George these last two games. It hasn't just been LeBron. It's been Dwayne Wade on Paul George. And Paul George, for the better part of 7 of the last 8 quarters, has been on lockdown.
True.
Now, that's from foul trouble and he's missing shots, but Dwayne Wade has something to do with that. So once again, this is what they talk about when you talk to the Miami Heat, when you talk to their officials, when you talk to their coaches. One of the things they rave about, the reason why they're so dismissive of his injuries is because they believe he brings so much to the table in so many facets that they're not worried. Their attitude is he will find a way to impact the game in the right way when it's time. That's what their belief system in Dwayne Wade is.
Huh. So, Rudy Gay, Miami in 6 or Miami in 7?
You give me the tough questions. I say Miami in 7.
7.
In 7.